We are back on Sunday Sports Extra, and it is our Coach's Corner. Coach Bruce Bush joining us once again. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, Clay, it's a pleasure to be here.
Joe?
Yeah, I got a big question right out of the gate. Let's talk rivalry. We were talking Harlingen, San Benito. Last night, Harlingen against the Hannah Golden Eagles seemed suspect in the secondary, and that Hannah was able to go deep, had some plays, as we can see on the highlights, that could have been even bigger plays. And you know San Benito can make plays. So, Coach, when you prepare to go against a football team and suddenly something like that pops up, do you regroup and go after that, or do you stay focused on here's our game plan for San Benito and not change anything?
Well, I'll assure you, Manny Gomez is going to have Cardinals ready to play, and this is a rival game, and that might have come into the focus that Harlingen had on Saturday. And also a Saturday ball game sometimes will take you out of your routine. You know, the kids are not in school all day, and a lot of times they don't come into the afternoon. You don't know what they did all day. So I think some of those things might have affected Harlingen a little bit. As far as the deep ball is concerned, Manny's going to work hard on what the opposing offenses do, and he's going to have his kids ready to stop it, whether it be a rival game with San Benito or whether it be anybody else. So the Cardinals will be ready to play. It'll be a great ball game.
Will be a lot of fun. Coach, let's talk about another thing, and that was the Roma game. We talked to officials last week. Let's talk a little bit about the Roma game this week. A running football team is suddenly turned into a passing team because of the fact that multiple false starts were going on, making them a 1st and 15 or a 2nd and 13 kind of ball club. The kids came over the sideline and was standing there beeping at the coaches, you know, hey, they're calling out our go count. All right, now, it's a chess match. I know a defense, if they can get their heads, they'll use it. But when it happens and it occurs to the tune of double digits, what do you do as a coach to try to reel that in?
You know, Joe, that has been a problem. That's been an issue that I've had sometimes over the years. A defense may be shifting. They may be making defensive calls where they're shifting their linemen and making strength calls that sound a lot like your snap count. And if your team is going on a quick count, it can really cause havoc with your team by offsides penalties. And as a coach, you know, it can be very frustrating. As a team, it can be very frustrating. And I know that in this case, they call timeout and try to deal with it. But I've had times that I've had to change snap counts because the defense were making calls, shifts that sounded like my snap counts. Now, the referee, in this case, the umpire, is supposed to make that call if they are intentionally simulating your snap count to pull you off sides. That it is illegal, and the umpire should make that call. But in this case, I think it was probably a defensive shift, something to strength that was sounding a lot like their snap count. It was causing them to jump off sides. But certainly was a problem for Roma, and hopefully they'll get it cleared up.
I've got an interesting question for you, Coach. George Olivas, who you coached at PSJA North, quarterback there, left this week, is enrolled at Edinburgh Vella. And Coach George Pena has said to the monitor, he said, I'll sign whatever they want. He can play there if he wants. Edinburgh Vella, they're eligible to have him because he lives in their school zone. He's eligible in 15 days. But what I'm asking is, from the position of another coach who's getting ready to play Edinburgh Vella, from a David Gilpin at Mission Veterans, a Jason Wheeler at Pioneer, a Carlos Sainz at Valley View, or a Carlos Longoria at Rio Grande City. If you are getting ready to play Edinburgh Vella, do you say something? Do you say something to your DEC, your District Executive Committee, about this athlete who is eligible to play at Edinburgh Vella? Do you say something?
Well, Clay, the District Executive Committee will deal with this. Certainly, the kid has always lived in the Vela zone for several years. He has played at PSJ North, which has made him eligible. With this, the key here is did he move for athletic purposes, and that will have to be dealt with the District Executive Committee. Certainly, some of the coaches may raise this question about what his motivation is to leave in the middle of the football season. But George is a good athlete. He's a good kid, and I think a lot of times District Executive Committee wishes the kid the best, give him an opportunity. So we'll see what happens on that. But certainly, I think there will be some questions asked. I think I would probably ask that question as well.
Yeah, I think I might as well. Speaking of quarterback. quarterbacks, Coach. One that used to live here, no longer does. Shea Patterson is now the quarterback for IMG Academy. It's an agency-run high school. It's accredited, but it's for athletes to get, you know, the best scholarships and stuff. Once upon a time, Shea Patterson and Trevor Spates played together at youth football levels, and Shea felt that Shea and his family felt that they needed to move on to Shreveport and then now to Florida to get him recruited, to get him the best options. Trevor stayed here, and he's got great options. He just got offered by Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Stanford, some of the best. When you look at their offers, they're the same, but Trevor gets the regular high school experience. Shea does not. I'm interested in your thoughts on the comparison between the two.
Well, I think both the kids are going to have great opportunities, and certainly Shea Patterson, you know, he left Hidalgo and went to Louisiana to Shreveport, the parochial school there outside of Shreveport. I know I watched him on television playing in state championship games. He certainly got some great exposure, and my son was at the University of Houston at that time, and he said Shea Patterson's a real deal. I mean, he certainly has all the traits to be you know, I think he's committed to going to Ole Miss.
Yes, he is.
So he's going to certainly have a great future. The thing that I think may be a little bit different with Shea Patterson as opposed to Trevor is that Shea is a quarterback, and a lot of his success depends on his supporting cast, his receivers, his offensive line, and by going to Shreveport and going on to this academy, he's assured that all the players around him are also good players. He's got good receivers. He's good offensive lineman. So he's able to show his skills a lot better as a quarterback. Whereas Trevor, with the ability he has, it's pretty obvious every time he lines up and plays that he's a good athlete, great running back, and schools can see that on film no matter who he's playing against.
And Trevor gets to go to homecoming.
Well, yeah, I think that's another point you brought out is the high school experience. Certainly Shea not being with the same group of kids all through high school, maybe not building up those lifetime friendships like Trevor has by being a part of the entire high school experience, going to proms, going to homecomings, and maybe, of course, both of them are going to have great futures, and I hope it works out for both kids.
I'm betting that it will. Coach Bruce Bush, thank you so much for joining us in the Coach's Corner. We are coming right back on Sunday Sports Extra. We're going to talk about the Jackets. That's right, La Máquina Amarilla has a new quarterback for a few weeks anyway, and he is looking good. We'll hear from Andrew Segura next.